guess what time it is? I mean, exactly what time it is.
Exactly 9:30?
It is exactly 9:30. Go. Half hour of sports talk. I'm just going to sit back and listen. That's all I'm
We got enough to cover.
I'm glad to see you. We got a new guy.
We do.
Helping us host this week.
Welcome to the show.
Casey Miners.
Seems like I haven't been in here for a while.
Decided to spare some time for us here this morning as you stroll in right as the music hits the air. He comes walking in.
You got to know when to be here. Can't be here too early, right?
Yeah, that preparation stuff is so highly overrated, isn't it?
Yeah, they got to make his grand entrance, man.
Yeah. So, all three of us here to talk a little sports. Of course, there's lots going on in the local scene, and Jeff even made a list for us to talk about. So, we're going to let him, we're going to turn him loose here in just a couple minutes. But football. It's the Eagles, it's the Chiefs. What do we think about that?
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles.
You guys are definitely on the whole that the Chiefs are done with. They need to go away.
Yeah, but they're not going to.
No.
I don't dislike them or anything, and I actually like Patrick Mahomes. But, yeah, I don't know. There's a couple of Nebraska guys on the Philadelphia team, so it'd be kind of cool. And then, you got the whole
Cooper
Iowa
DeJean.
story with Cooper DeJean and stuff. So that'd be pretty cool to see, him win it his rookie year and some of my old Husker guys, get a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
So
it's got to be. You'd have to go back and look, but how many Iowa guys have been up for Defensive Rookie of the Year in their rookie season? I don't know. I can't remember if Jack Campbell was a couple years ago when he was on the Lions. But
I don't think so.
Yeah.
There's been so many good defensive players, but they're just not getting that kind of recognition.
Yeah.
And the Eagles, man, they just turned it around. When they put Cooper DeJean on the field, their defense really upgraded from there. I don't spend a lot of time watching the Eagles, but from what everybody has said, this kid has just come on the scene and been phenomenal when he got a chance to play.
They've got two rookie quarterbacks, and both of them are up for Defensive Rookie of the Year. So I think that says a lot about the youth and what those two have meant from the outside, especially covering the boundaries and different receivers.
A year away from college, and man, he's going to the Super Bowl. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, good for him. I did have to laugh because there was a video of him talking with one of his teammates that I think grew up in Florida or something like that, and they were talking about how cold it got, or if there was any hot days in Iowa or something like that. And that was kind of funny.
Something about it. Are there any warm days in Iowa?
Darius Slay, which I always found weird because he played at Michigan or something like that. So it's like Michigan's going to get worse than Iowa.
Yeah, we're kind of about to cross from each other. You guys, Michigan's a little further north, but
maybe didn't come out for classes all that much.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know the whole story there. But I do know that my least favorite person in sports this week has got to be Andy Reid. He has got to stop those stupid commercials that he does all the time. He is the worst actor I have ever seen. The Fumble Rooski one, I saw that one to death the other day, and I was like, oh man, can I please? It's just awkward to watch.
I think that's what makes it funny. I think for most people is because
funny part.
Is that he's so bad at acting that
yes,
I think it's what makes most people laugh.
Yeah.
I hardly ever watch him, so I'm lucky enough not to see him very often. So
every other commercial is either Patrick Mahomes or a State Farm commercial. It seems like with that one on there. So I'm not looking forward to the next couple of weeks of that. So
imagine what the Super Bowl commercials are going to be like.
I know.
The weird thing is about those is that you're already starting to see some Super Bowl commercials being played, and I'm like, are they really Super Bowl? I mean, I know they're going to get played, but it's like it used to be that they debuted the commercials on the Super Bowl, and now you're seeing Super Bowl commercials ahead of the Super Bowl. It seems so weird.
When they cost $7 million, you take every opportunity you can.
No, absolutely.
And people will watch them early online.
Oh yeah.
They just go, what's going to be coming up on the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And they're underwhelmed when they watch the rest of the game.
I always like watching the commercials then. It gives you that, especially like when they put out like movie trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch them in advance. I want to.
I usually flip over to the Puppy Bowl during the commercial break. So
you seem like that kind of guy.
Kidding. I'm not big on the commercials. I never have been.
How about the food? What do you guys got to have for food at the Super Bowl?
I don't know. My mom's making food, so
Is she?
yeah.
I'll probably have pizza and wings.
Yeah, that's pretty standard. Wings, 1.45 billion wings will be eaten on Super Bowl
That don't
Sunday.
surprise me.
I'll eat half of those.
Guacamole. Are you guys guacamole people?
No.
I can
I'm
eat
not.
it if I go out to eat, but I don't ever make it. How about you?
8 million pounds of guacamole eaten. My wife does not do guacamole, so we
Okay.
don't have that at our house too
Okay.
much. So I don't mind it. But like I said, I only have it when we're out.
Yep.
How much money does America spend on beer for Super Bowl Sunday?
Oh, man.
Is it $1 billion?
It's $1.3 billion.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
All right, so
Yeah.
Super Bowl trivia question. Here we go. Let's see. Who was the first wild card team to win the Super Bowl? There's been 6 of them. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the last. Tom Brady's Buccaneers. But who was the very first one? You got to go back.
Was it Eli Manning and the Giants? They knocked off
New England?
Brady?
Nope.
Yeah.
Got to go back
It's gotta
farther
probably
than that
be
one.
Further
So,
than that.
yep.
Wow, I have no idea on
Yeah,
that.
you got to go all the way back to the Oakland Raiders. What was it, back in the 80s?
Back in the 80s.
Jim Plunkett.
Wow.
And, I mean, not gonna probably ring a bell with you, Casey,
Yeah,
but
no.
Yeah,
Jim Plunkett
was great. Was he 80s or was he 70s?
it was like 1980, 81 or something like
81.
that.
Because it was
Yeah.
right around. John Madden was the coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's been 6 wild card winners of the Super Bowl. So,
Okay.
what's predictions? You want to make them now, or you want to wait till next week?
Kansas City.
I hope
He
not.
says resignedly.
I hope not.
Right now, you can't go against Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce. They make plays down the stretch, and
What I see a stat, they're 17-0 in one-score games. The last
Yeah.
17 one-score games they've been in.
Yeah.
It gives them confidence
insane.
when it gets down close.
Yeah.
They're going to pull it off.
Yeah. No, I've got kind of I hate to point out bad things about things, but the round before that, who was that guy that dropped the ball at the goal line? that
Oh,
would've
for the
tied it?
Ravens?
Yeah, for the Ravens.
Mark Andrews?
Yes. And everybody was like, is that one of the worst plays, and it's going to go down in history? Well, what about the Buffalo, that last play there for Buffalo where the guy dives and tries to make the catch? If he catches it, they're in field goal range with a chance to even maybe score more. So in the last 2 weeks, you've had a play late in the game that, may go down as one of those
Could have
blooper
changed
rules.
everything.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But it didn't. So
Yes.
And the Chiefs just seem to make those plays every single time they need them.
Yeah, they do.
So
You can't fault them against it.
No,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
I give them all the credit in the world, but yeah, you just you're like
May not come down to that if the officials from the view up above actually give Buffalo the first down that they gained, but
I didn't see that play, and my brother is a known Chiefs hater.
Right.
And he came storming in my room, and he goes, "They had the first down," and I'm like, "I didn't see it."
The 2 side angles, it's questionable. I think the side angle from the opposite side of where he was at on the line of scrimmage looked like it, but the up top view certainly looked at it. But I'm not sitting here. I'm not one that sits here and says that the Chiefs get calls or the NFL's trying to help them or anything like that. But I thought that'd be funny to throw out there.
I think what the refs got to look at is if all the angles equal a first down, then it's a first down. If you can't see it from every single angle, then
Well, but if the angle up above clearly shows that the ball is across the line to gain, it's kind of hard not to go, okay, that's by far the best angle we have to see it, because you don't have a bunch of players around it. That, I think you gotta. And then the one that was the diving catch, no catch, where the ball hit the ground, where Xavier Worthy came up with it. That
one I
probably
did not see. I
that
didn't
should
watch
have
a
been
lot of that.
probably an incomplete pass. So,
But you got to give the Chiefs a lot of credit. I mean, they perform when they need to.
They do.
Make the catch when they need to. They're
Absolutely.
smarter than everybody else out there. I
Right.
think when comes down to play calling and just how to deal with every situation,
agreed.
they handle it just perfectly, which drives me insane. But being a Vikings fan, we find a way to do the opposite of all of that. So
yeah, well, or your favorite team could not be in the playoffs for the last 13 years. Which one would you rather take, huh?
this is true.
I'm a Dolphins fan. I know exactly the feeling.
Been a lot of heartache for you too.
Yes.
So let's talk a little local sports here. Let's start with Katie Cook and the Carroll Tiger girls. They have been on a roll lately.
Yeah, been fun. I know you got some text with her as you wrote the stories last night, and we broadcasted on video the game Saturday. But, Saturday, Sophia Tidgren gets fouled with a little over 2 seconds left. Or no, it was actually 6 seconds left, and ends up hitting 2 free throws to give them a 1-point lead, and then they make the stop on the other end. and they beat number 1 St. Albert in Class 1A by 148-47. And then last night,
Aiden kind of did the same thing. Went off a screen and drove to the basket, got fouled with I think under 10 seconds to go, hit 2 free throws, and ADM missed their last shot, and won 55-54.
Yeah.
So it was
another ranked team that Carroll takes down by 1 with 2 late free throws.
I wonder when the last time that happened. That the Carroll Tiger girls had won against 2 ranked teams.
Right.
I mean, because you go from back-to-back state championships in the 90s to some of the depths of the girls basketball where they didn't win a game for years.
Right. I would say that you'd probably have to go back maybe to the Shelley Mossman, now Shelley Haluska years where they were really strong. That might have been a push. Maybe I'd have to talk to Pete to double check, but maybe when his daughter Ella was on the team, because they had a couple of pretty strong years in there where they were pretty good. But you may go all the way back to those championship teams with Sarah Stribe and Kim McCaffrey and those Kim McCaffrey Davis and those teams.
So what's Katie Cook doing with this team that is working so well?
They are so good on the defensive end. I mean, they rebound well because they throw a lot of post players at you. They might not be the tallest team when you see them go up against some teams, but with the physicality that they have down low in the post, they're hard to move off the block. And
they are.
And they're really good defensively, and it makes up for them off. Allie Cook's having a great year. I told Jeff on Saturday that every game that I've seen from Carroll, she just makes winning plays.
Yes.
She might not have 20 points, but she's going to chip in 5 points, and all 5 of those are going to be coming at crucial times of the game when you need a basket.
Nice to see her kind of healthy this year. She's been really special for them this season.
Yeah, we always talk about sports being cyclical. Well, the Carroll girls are certainly on an upswing right now. So look forward to seeing them. They're going to be, Jeff, you're going to see them tonight against Boone.
Yeah, I'm looking
Not sure
forward
what the Toreadors bring with them.
Cole Corson.
Oh, that's right, Cole, our old friend Cole.
I'll get a chance to see Cole tonight.
I think Boone's last in the conference.
They are. Haven't won a conference game. They're 5 and I think 11 or something like that overall. But
they're going to give Carroll. They're going to push Carroll. Though. I mean, the record of our conference is good.
Yeah.
So. I haven't talked to Cole since about a couple kids ago.
Yeah.
He's had a few since then.
He has. Yeah. I'll get a chance to catch up with him. We used to text back and forth up to probably a few months ago, and now I haven't heard from him. But it's in the middle of the season. He's probably a little busy, so I'll hope to get a chance to say hi tonight.
Cut a little slack on that one. So that's going to be on the way tonight. And again, the YouTube broadcast on that one too.
That'll be YouTube and on here on KCIM. So.
Yes, you want to find out why the Carroll girls have been so improved lately? I mean, tune in and watch, of course, and listen for Jeff's broadcast of the ball game tonight against the Boone Toreadors. Brock Bading, Kemper Knights, he's setting records these days. All-time three-pointer career leader at Kemper.
Yeah, 178 of them, I think, now is where he's sitting. It was after he broke the record, so that would have been before the Gilbert Showcase game on Saturday. So I can't remember exactly how many he had. I think he hit maybe 5 over there.
Yeah, I can't remember how many he hit against Creston, but it came against Creston last Friday.
Yeah, it came against Creston, but his total would be higher than 178 now because you'd have to add Saturday's games in there. But, yeah, it's special. I thought it was kind of funny. His brother Parker had been the record holder, and he put a tweet out or whatever talking about how proud he was, and he said something about the fact that, knew it was going to come even when you were younger, and stuff, because Brock's such a great shooter. But, all-time three-point leader in Kemper history, and he's still got a season and plus to go.
So he might be able to put that record out of reach.
I asked Sean, I'm like, can he get to 300? And he goes, I'm not going to say that he can't. And I'm not going to say it because he should be pretty close, if not over 200
coming
this year by the end of this year, and then he'll have next year to add on to that total. So
yeah, I mean, there's been some pretty good three-point shooters that have gone through the Kemper program and local teams and things like that. But
I did say, if you're Parker, you're going to use the reason or the excuse, if you want to, that Sam Allen was on his teams. Yeah. So it maybe took a few of those threes away from him because Parker's number 2 all-time history, Sam's number 3.
And a lot of those Kemper teams were built on the three-point shot.
They were, absolutely.
This one, not so much. They've got some other things they can do with this team, so that even opens up the three-pointer even more.
Yeah, the three-pointer's kind of secondary to this team, to the inside game and to You know, 'cause when I say inside game, the ability to get to the rim, and then their defense.
I feel confident saying they are the best team in transition in the state of Iowa.
Yes.
The way that they're able to get out and run, off of rebounds and use their speed, it's magical and it's special to watch.
Yeah, it is. I was surprised that Des Moines Christian was able to rally against them in the fourth quarter. They had it up to 16 or 17 in the third, and then it got down to, I think, 6.
Yeah.
Luckily they were able to pull that one out, because that would have not been a good loss if they'd have let that one slip away. Not that Des Moines Christian's not good, but you don't want to blow a 17-point lead.
Yeah.
So while Brock Bading became the all-time three-point leader at Kemper, a couple of other high school players are about to break some single-season records or school records.
Yeah, the coaches have told me not to announce them, but so I'm not going to use names. But we've got a player that.
What does it rhyme with?
Let's just say she's known as a great three-point shooter, but she needs four three-pointers to break her school's record for most three-pointers in a season. And then we've got a young man that is really close to breaking the assist record for single season for his school. So,
that's what we don't talk a lot about.
Absolutely, yes. So once those are broken, we'll get those in our Brinks Exterior Sports Report stories to let everybody know that they're broken, and then we can talk. But both coaches have said, please don't mention names and stuff like that, because they're not for sure if the kids are even aware at this point of what they're getting close to. So they don't want to put that pressure on them. So,
well, the other night you got a chance to see a little rare treat. Not very often do you take a ball game saying, I'm going to go do this ball game because your nephew was playing.
Yep.
But your nephew Isaac went off the other night.
He did.
And you were there calling the game.
I was, and it's so tough because they were playing Audubon, and I know all the Audubon kids and Darren Miller and the head coach down there. So you try to be really neutral, but when your nephew makes his first 6 3-pointers in the first quarter, Will Miners was running our video, and I'm like, I turned over during a break, and I'm like, I'm not getting too excited when he's hitting these already. And he goes, no, you always get excited for made threes. So he goes, you're good. And I'm like, okay. I just wanted to make for sure. But yeah, finished with 9 of them in the game, had 29 points. School record for made threes, and career high for him with 29. So, so happy for that young guy. He puts in so much work. And Keith Wagner said that, they had a shoot around after school that day, and then he went back into the gym before the JV came out for their game and got more shots up by himself. And I know my brother Jim had done some work with him at the rec center down there on catching and getting in position to be able to make shots. Quick, really funny story on the whole thing. I didn't know this until Thursday of last week. We do that weekly interview with coaches, and I was interviewing Darren Miller. And he mentioned something about my nephew Trevor, Isaac's older brother, and Isaac. And I says, oh, you know those two? And he goes, yeah, those hog barns that they do chores on. He goes, those are the ones I manage. So he goes, I know your two nephews really well. So Darren was coming up for doing post-game interview, and he knows my brother Jim because of that. And Jim was sitting over there as Darren walks up, and he looks at Jim looks at Darren and says, are you going to fire him tomorrow morning?
Very funny.
Yes.
So let's talk about the Coon Rapids Baird girls. They are on a major roll right now as well. Picked up a big win the other night against Exira Elkhorn Kimballton.
Yeah, they've got a huge game with Exira coming up tonight. Yeah. Yep. So I'm not going to say that they lock in the conference championship with a win because they have more than 2 games left, but they have a 2-game lead over Exira and a 2-game lead over Woodbine in that conference race. And really the only 2 teams that have been competitive with them the rest of their schedule is Woodbine and Exira Kimballton. They do have Woodbine at home next week. So a win tonight doesn't for sure lock it up, but you got to feel really
good chance
of locking up that conference championship.
Exira's playing really good right now.
They're playing very well.
They got Jalen Peterson back, and it's helped them a lot on the offensive end, and they're playing really well right now. They knocked off Woodbine, who I think a lot of you looked at a team a lot of people thought was going to be the favorite coming into the Rolling Valley this year. And they didn't do really good against Coon last time, but I think Tom's going to have them.
Without Jaylin the first time.
Tom's going to have adjustments made, and they'll be ready to go at home.
And Malia Clayberg's been a little banged up.
Yep.
And she's the stud down there at Coon, so it's going to be a heck of a ball game. Nick should have a lot of fun. He's got that one on KKRL tonight. But yeah, both 2 really good teams, and I think 2 of the girls teams that we have that are poised to make the absolute deepest runs here in the postseason.
Yeah, we're getting ready. I mean, when postseason comes up. It was real quick here.
Yeah.
As we approach the end of January.
Girls pairings, I wish they were out this week, but they're coming out supposedly next week because the postseason starts right around the 8th or something like that, the 8th or 9th. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read the calendar over there. But whenever that middle part of that week after the state girls wrestling tournament, which is the 5th and 6th, so it'd be right around the 10th, I think, is the first girls game. So last year they put out the pairings 5 days before the first round. So I'm guessing they're going to do something similar this year. But
probably.
We're almost
wait
there.
Till the last minute.
We're almost there.
Exactly. We're about 2 weeks out from all of that. By the way, did you see the other day that Caitlin Clark turned 23 and she was showing some shooting practice she had done. For her birthday, she made 50 of 54 shots from beyond the three-point line. You just watch this girl just drains it.
It's amazing.
It's just automatic, it seems like.
Yeah. She's an incredible shooter, and it's because she's put in so much time. She doesn't take time away from getting shots up every day, no matter what's going on in her life. And it's what's made her she might be the Steph Curry of women's basketball, where she's the greatest shooter that's ever stepped on the floor. Yeah.
No doubt about that. And only 23. And she's already the lead figure of women's sports out there.
Speaking of Steph Curry, though, missed his first free throw. I don't know how many he had made in a row, but they showed it last night. It was a really, really long streak. And literally the opposing players stopped and kind of looked because they were amazed
what?
that he
did he just miss this?
That he missed a free throw.
Yeah, he is crazy good.
Yep.
This is KCIM Sports Rewind. We're going to talk a little wrestling and more coming up here in just a moment. Hang on.
As the athletes at your house prepare for hard work and fun of the season, remember that St. Anthony Rehab Services provides physical therapy for any sports injury that may sideline your member of the team. Sports injuries can plague kids of all ages and keep them from playing the sport they love. Athletes will be under the direct supervision of a certified and licensed healthcare professional in the newly renovated sports performance facility. If an injury is keeping your athlete out of the game, call St. Anthony Rehabilitation Services at 794-5000 for sports injury and treatment rehab.
It is KCIM Sports Rewind. Let's give you a quick rundown of the schedule that we got for you tonight for broadcast. All three of our stations going to be carrying games. Jeff, you're going to be out with the Carroll Tigers tonight. Boone in town. 5:45 is the pregame start time there. And let's see, Nick Brinks, Coon Rapids, Bearden, Exire, Elkhorn, Kimballton. That begins at 5:45. And Mason Nealon going to be out West Bend, Mallard, South Central Calhoun. That's going on tonight. And again, that one also about 5:45, and that one's on Kick 106.7.
Yeah, we hope all the girls' games start at 6. Anymore, it's hard to know until you get there. We're getting mega nights where they're playing girls and boys JV games ahead of them and stuff. So sometimes they're scheduled for 6, but sometimes I'm saying that only because sometimes I get messages, from people going, "Hey, I tuned in tonight and the game's not on the station you said is what's going on." Well, it's because the games haven't started yet because the JV games, there's been nights where we haven't gotten on until 6:30, 6:45, 6:50 to get some of the actual varsity games going. So they schedule everything for 6, but that doesn't always mean that it's going to start at 6 o'clock.
Sit tight. They're going to get there. Yep. By the way, the Rewind All-Star festivities, we're going to have that Rewind team coming up here in a couple of weeks. But what you got for me? What's the latest?
Yeah, so again, Saturday, March the 8th is when we're going to be hosting that event out at Carroll High School. I did post out all the details about what we were going to be doing that day here a week ago and had a few people reach out to me and go, "Have you posted the list of the kids that are invited?" We're waiting, for the regular season to wrap up and get into the playoffs a little bit. So we won't announce the list of kids here probably for about 2 weeks or so. It'll be probably close to the mid part of February before that list of who's being invited for kids and coaches come out. But I just wanted to kind of get that out there because I've had several people reach out to me and go, "Hey, I haven't seen the list yet. Where's the list?" And we're waiting, trying to get through the whole regular season and into the postseason for everything before we come out with that list. So
let's talk about some of the headlines going on in wrestling right now. In girls wrestling, Emma Daniels of Carroll. Talk about her efforts.
Yeah, she's really come on. She's had a great year last year, made it down to state. She's been ranked ranked all this season, but huge win for her Saturday. They went down to the Atlantic Invite, and Haley Armstrong of Atlantic ranked number 1 or number 2, depending on which rankings you look at. But Emma had struggled with her throughout her career a little bit, but pinned her in the first period on Saturday to take home that tournament championship. So that bodes really well for her, I think, down at the state tournament. She comes in ranked 8th going in. She'll probably move up and stuff, so that should give her a little better seed, and it certainly will help her. State qualifying's coming up on Friday of this week. We'll talk about that here in a little bit as well.
I'd be curious to see, in her opinion, what the difference in matches was.
Yeah.
Because a first-round pin.
Yes.
Yeah, you're talking a dominating performance there.
Yeah, and a lot of her losses to Haley had been fairly close. She'd been competitive with her. So, I'm waiting to get a chance to see Emma, or I talk with Joe, her dad, coming up later this week for the coaches show on Saturday morning, and it'll be interesting to see kind of what happened there and how she was able to kind of dominate one of the top ranked wrestlers in her weight class in the state. So
another great wrestler having a great season, Macy Rasmussen of the Audubon Wheelers.
Yeah, the freshman Casey, just so impressive. She's still undefeated on the season.
Exceeded expectations. I think that a lot of people, we knew that she was going to be good coming in, but I think she's exceeded a lot of expectations that people thought as a freshman. You're wrestling, at the 115-pound weight class and still sitting undefeated on the year. She's won every tournament she's been at. And I noticed lately she's starting to, beginning of the year was kind of, we're getting pins in 2-3 minutes. Now she's like going out there and it's like, okay, I'm going to take care of business and get off the mat.
Yep, and I know we named her our Brink Spotlight Athlete of the Month for the month of January here, and did the interview with her, and I asked her, when she started, and it's like there wasn't really girls wrestling back then, so she won several state AAU championships, and those were in the boys, so she was wrestling boys when she did that. So that tells you the level of talent that this young lady has. But just been kind of fun to follow her and watch her. I think I've gotten down there twice to see him so far this year, and looking forward to getting to see her hopefully at the state tournament.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, state qualifying starts this Friday.
It's this Friday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll have updates on all 3 stations and stuff, just brief ones, for a little bit in the afternoon after it starts, as we would do like on a Saturday for the boys. But we do have basketball games on Kick and KKRL that night, so there's no Iowa State here, so I'll keep the updates. The other thing I'm going to do is I'll tweet out all the results between Casey and I. We'll tweet out all the results and stuff for all of our area girls wrestlers, so go to the CB Sports Network Twitter page to be able to get updates on how all of our area wrestlers are doing coming up on Friday night. So we'll know on Friday who's qualified for the state wrestling tournament. So
boy, not even the end of January.
I know
we're going to know about that.
Yeah,
stuff.
state wrestling's next week.
I know.
Next Thursday and Friday. So
Carson Webker, South Central Calhoun freshman, suffering his first loss.
Yeah, wrestled really, really well on Saturday. I was over at the Herb Ergrens, which, if it's not the toughest wrestling tournament in the entire state for the entire season, it's number 2. I know there's a big one up in the Waterloo area that even brings in teams from out of the state, and it sounds like it's huge. But that Herb Ergrens over at Ida Grove has always been an elite tournament. So the freshman to go in there and get into the championship match, lost to, if I remember right, to a young man from Don Bosco that's traditionally a power, and stuff, and they won it. Don Bosco won it overall, but really good performance for him. He looked really, really good on Saturday.
Yeah, when you lose a match and that's a highlight, that's like of note that week.
Yep.
Man, you got a special kind of season going there. How about Jason Aviles of Carroll High winning the 285-pound title on Saturday?
Yeah, he was our only champion to come out of there on Saturday, and both of them were tight. His semifinal round match and then his championship round match. I know there was one, he was literally down 1-0. Late in the third period, and it looked like he was in trouble. And the coaches kept yelling, the instructions, and I'm not going to be able to say exactly what they were saying because I can't remember, but the one part of it was, he's exhausted. So Jason got a reversal to win 2-1 literally in the closing seconds that advanced him on, and then he ends up winning the championship round as well. So congratulations on him. Had to fight through. He looked like he might have been dead in the water there because the guy had the ankle and the knee and was holding on for dear life, but Jason was able to get it free and spin around and get onto his back, I think with maybe 10, 15 seconds left to be able to pick up the win. So
nice job. Yeah, Jason Aviles of Carroll High winning that one. And we're going to switch over here to boys swimming. Tegan Renzi of Carroll breaking a school record.
He's broken more than one so far this season.
Yeah, most recent one.
Yeah, but most recent he broke another one, and they're swimming really well right now. He broke into the 200 free, by over 6 seconds. Coming to last January 18th. He's been a little bit, but they've been swimming really well. This season. For being such a small team. They've got a good chance of sending almost every single kid down to the state tournament.
Yeah, him and Legan Renzi have been absolutely dominant. I know when I talked with Coach Danner last Saturday, because it had happened the Saturday prior to that when we chatted on the coaches show, she's like, it was never a match. He just got out in front of everybody at the get-go and just kind of buried everybody. Broke the school record by 6 seconds and did that. They're still in Hell Week, pardon my French, but this is the stretch where they do a whole bunch of yardage every single day to kind of get the strength up, and then they'll taper, to get themselves ready. But she's like, once they taper, he should get even faster. So he has a chance to break this again.
By 6 seconds.
By 6 seconds.
That's a crazy amount of time.
Yep.
So what's next up there? They haven't had consistent swim meets throughout the year, really. They've been long breaks in their season.
There was like about a 5-week stretch over the Christmas holiday break where they didn't have anything. Actually, it might have been closer to 3 weeks or whatever, but it was really, really long and stuff. So, they're beginning to wind down their regular season. So they'll have a meet coming up Thursday here in town. And then I know they have another tournament coming up, and then I haven't looked at the schedule beyond that. But, we're getting into the postseason for everything here in a hurry. So
girls state qualifying coming up on Friday. Jeff, you'll have some reports in the afternoon on that. Plus, we've got basketball mixed in. But the winter sports season, boy, once you hit February, it's a sprint.
Yep, it is.
I mean, you got the girls state wrestling, boys state wrestling, girls state basketball tournament. I suppose the boys push into March, don't they?
They do. The state tournaments it'll end it's the week after the 8th, so it'd be like the 10th or whatever through that week and stuff. But hard to believe that after today we're down to 32 days to March 1st.
Yeah. Going to get crazy. Definitely once the calendar hits February, that's for sure. That is KCIM Sports Rewind for the week. You can catch a podcast of this program available on the website coming up in just a few more moments.